that's doing it that way. But yeah, we got the Spice Guy on. So how you doing, my friend? You all right?
I'm all right. It's been a weird week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been crazy, mate. It's been lots of stuff's been happening here as well. So yeah, and your section went down an absolute storm last time.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think it's because the northernness in me came out. I was able to be my fruitful self, and then it's like when you see when you go and see family, all of a sudden your voice and your attitude and your persona changes. And then even when I all day I was acting really mank. I even had a little swagger about me. You know what I mean? That kind of cheekiness.
I know. Our kid, yeah. Walking around. You have that walk, don't you? You do have that walk, and it's just in you. Anyway, brilliant. It's great to have you on the show, and thanks for spending some time. So, what we're cooking today? That looks like bacon.
Well, the thing is, right? I know everyone goes off and does like really fancy stuff, and they do obviously my bugbearer sat at the kitchen, and he got himself some lovely rack of lamb, French trimmed from the local farm, because that's what we all do. We all go to the local farm and get some French trimmed lamb cutlets, don't we, on a regular basis, and spend £12 per head, and that's not even including the vegetables and everything else.
All the wine.
Reality. I'm sure there are people that do that. I'm not saying there aren't, but however, I just think the general populace has a different way of dining and eating and stuff, and I'm no different. And I think it'd be really interesting. We never get to hear about what chefs eat, because they have to eat at some point, surely. So your Gordon Ramsays and your Ginos and your Jamies and all of them, it'd be interesting to see what they eat. And all I do is you know me, mate. You know me now. I don't fancy anything up. Although if I fancy something up, I fancy it up if I'm doing a nice meal. But I'll keep it real, and I'm making a bacon butty, mate. But I'm going to make you the best bacon butty that you could ever be described on live radio in the history of 2021. Because I don't want to say ever, because I'm sure there might be somebody that's done it better than me. But as my football team, which I won't talk about because it's been another horrific 2 weeks, probably the best bacon sandwich you'll ever have
in the world. Do you know what? I've not even had any breakfast yet, because I don't tend to eat till after the show. I don't have breakfast in the morning, and I'm Hank Marvin now, and I could just go a bacon sandwich. But let's go, baby.
Do you know what? We obviously started off last week. You got a little introduction to me and who I'm about. So I'm the Spice Guy. So what do? I live a keto lifestyle. Okay, keto lifestyle means I eat a lot of fat. Good fat. I balance it with vegetables, green vegetables, and I'm not here to tell you about my lifestyle, but you can go and research it yourself. Go and check it out if you're really interested.
Yeah, and just can I just, because I've seen some VT of you from about a year or so ago, and whatever you're doing's worked for you, because you look like you've trimmed down a bit.
3 stone.
Yeah, because you were a big unit, weren't you?
Chunky.
Yeah, I know.
Chunky.
And I thought, wow,
chunky. But the good thing was, I went through life. I was quite happy with myself. Do you know what I mean? I was happy. I never had a problem with the older ladies or anything like that. So I never really bothered.
We know that.
But
we can tell, baby. We can tell. Go on.
Internally, no, I wasn't. I'm going to give you a shocker. Here you go. The greatest Olympian the world has ever known. Right, the world has ever known, Olympian, and he happens to be British, right? Sir Stephen Redgrave.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that he's diabetic?
Really?
Do you know why he's diabetic?
Why?
Because for the last 10, 15, 20 years of his life, he's been told that he has to eat pasta, rice, etc., 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 and he did. And then obviously his body was adapting to what he was doing, and he went to doctors on a regular basis, and as with medicine and everything, he's diabetic.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable, isn't it? That's crazy. It's crazy.
All because we have been told how to eat by the Americans The Americans have got a lot to hold to be honest.
They have, mate, tell you.
To the turn of the century, they're the ones that told us how to even work. Do you know that? The turn of the century, they were telling us that we have to finish work at on the weekend. They invented the weekend. They invented the breakfast cereal as well. And the breakfast cereal is probably the worst breakfast you could possibly ever have in your life.
Yeah, Kellogg's. I used to work for Kellogg's, you see. I used to work for Kellogg's Cornflakes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is there anybody you haven't worked for? You've been around the block, you have, haven't you?
Mate, I have honestly, and I'm not just making up. Some people go, I've done this. I work for Kellogg's. I worked for Kellogg's Cornflakes in Trafford Park. And... and I used to go to the meetings there, and I was quite. They knew me in Kellogg's. They knew me there.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's fascinating. It's very similar to the world of Slimming World and all those companies. If you get into it and actually see, for me, how I got into this whole lifestyle was purely my own brains telling me something. So this was the moment where it all changed for me, right? Mm-hmm. This was the moment. And my new pal, my new Bezzy mate, right, Mark from Keto Fitness Club, right? He tells me, he went, do you remember when we used to have chip pans? And I think we touched upon it last week.
We did, yeah. All the grease down and everything, lovely.
Yeah. And that grease, and the fact of the matter was, if you hold animal fat or any butter or anything in your hand, if it's solidified, you've got bigger worries on your hand than worrying about it clogging up your arteries, because it won't clog up your arteries. It won't. It just won't. So it got me thinking. I had a light bulb moment. I call it my Sherlock moment. I love Sherlock Holmes. I love this new Sherlock. So it's like, oh, what's that moment? And then these little moments came along on a regular basis. So then the guy, the ultra runner, the guy who invented, do you know these are runners that take these protein shaped things, little tablet, like it's in a little packet.
Yeah.
And while they're running, they take this protein, it gives them a boost. Well, the guy who invented it, right? And I can't remember his name because I'm on the spot here, but I can pull it all out for you later on. Now, he was a marathon runner. Now, there's a difference between marathon running and ultra running, right? So your normal marathon's like 26, 27 miles, kilometers, or whatever it is. I don't know the facts. But as the ultra runners, oh my God, 100 kilometers. You know, they go for it. When they go for a run, they go for a run.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's like the scene from Forrest Gump. You know, when he went for a run, he went for a run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he developed this thing where it was basically based on sugars and boosting everything. Guess what? 2 years later, he did his own research. He tore it up. He went, this is the biggest pile of...
Yeah.
And he said that this is wrong. You cannot be filling yourself with this. And he actually tore it up and says he won't condone it. He's a famous doctor, actually.
I get that. And at the end of the day, we talked about it on the last show, and food companies, manufacturers are only there to make a profit. They're not there to give you the best stuff. They want to put the cheapest shit in to give you something to make their most bang for the buck. So I think we need to get back to some more simple ways of living and simple ways of consuming food, and that's what we're talking about with the Bacon Butty.
Absolutely, and Bacon Butty, but it's not just again. So I have to bake my own. I have to bake my own bread. He's got this vision of some old dear me baking the bread at 3:30 in the morning. I don't actually. I just get my mum to do it.
Why not?
Why not? She's at home. She's not doing out. You know what I mean? She's not going anywhere.
You're doing that, Mum. Get some bread made. You got. But mums will do that for you, won't they?
Yeah, well, my mum will, because she makes chapatis and all that kind of stuff. So she's got the hand-to-eye coordination, so she knows all that. And she's really, and again, because they're on the same lifestyle as me, okay, because they realise that the Indian lifestyle that they've started to lead, watching TV, mixed with the Western lifestyle, which is, and my mum is a Coronation Street addict.
Yeah.
Addict. It's on Christmas Day, right? She is addicted. It's ridiculous. So they watch TV, and again with the lifestyle that they're leading. So again with the Indian chapatis and the curries and the rice and all that stodge and stuff like that, it's causing havoc. However, However, another light bulb moment, most Indian food is keto, proper keto. The only problem is when you have a naan bread with it.
Yeah. Or you have a soda pop, or you have other stuff on top. Yeah.
15 pints of Carlsberg.
I had 8 pints of beer the other night. I felt a bit rough yesterday, I tell you.
It's like that joke when I can't remember it, with the bloke who says, "Oh, your kebab like made me ill." And the bloke says, "Well, what about the 15 pints of Stella you had before it?" You know what I mean?
It's never the beer, is it?
It's never the beer. No. It's never the beer. But anyway, cracking on. So just to give you a bit of an insight. So we got some bread here, right? My mum's made it, and again, the thing with the lifestyle that I'm leading, and I try to say to people that it's not bread, right? We try to tell people, we have a lot of people out there that are in the keto world or generally out there that say, this is bread. I tell you now, it's not bread, Kirk. I'll tell you that now. It's not bread. It's an alternative. We use linseed. We use almond flour. We use all different ingredients. And we will come across an ingredient out there that is similar to wheat. Wheat is such an amazing ingredient, and the whole world uses it. Every culture has bread or some form of bread.
Yes.
In their diet.
Yeah.
I mean, naan breads actually came from the Arabs. We didn't have naan breads till they turned up. They invented the tandoori oven back in the 15th century.
Yeah.
History lesson there for you. So again, it's all the same. So we've made something, okay. There we go. Now you notice it's quite yellow.
Yeah.
You notice it's quite yellow.
Yeah.
For the people that are on radio, they're thinking, okay, yeah, yellow bread. Simpsons. Do you know all I've done is, I don't know if you go on certain social media sites, and there'll be some really famous person endorsing turmeric.
Turmeric, marvelous stuff.
Yeah, and they sell these little bottle of shots and make it convenient for you.
Yeah.
Well, I've got an alternative. I'm just putting it out there. I mean, it's quite radical. You know, I bought the powder. You know, the fresh stuff. That's like really, really cheap.
Yeah.
Really, really cheap and fresh. And guess what I did? I got my mum to put a teaspoon of it in my bread.
Perfect, isn't it? Perfect, isn't it? Perfect.
It's as simple as that. You don't need to go out on social media websites or whatever and fall for this newfangled way of consuming a product that's natural. It's so natural. It's like, do you know? Remember when they started? Remember back in the 80s when they started to bring out mineral water, and the whole of England were like, "What?"
I know. I still can't get my head around it. How we buy bottled water? I still cannot get my head around it.
Do you know what? I get it now, because Europe has a very different way of drinking water. Now I've got a filter over there, and I have to consume electrolytes because I don't eat certain products, certain carbohydrates. I lose out on certain minerals, so I have to consume pink salt for my minerals.
From the Himalayas. From the Himalayas, is that so?
It is from the Himalayas. I went up there myself and went and ground it.
Ground it out. I dug it out of the ground and ground it up.
Yeah. When the plane arrived in India, I kissed the floor and I ran up the mountain, mate.
Oh, he's here. The Spice Guy's come for more salt. He's run out. He's here every couple of weeks.
I know, in his shorts, doing his cold running.
Oh.
So there you go. So I mean, straight away,
cool.
The Spice Guy, straight away. I've just brought two beautiful, natural products that you can get readily available from every shop. Hey mate, if I wanted to plug, I've got a business. I do spices, but guess what? You can get them everywhere.
I know.
You can get them everywhere. The difference that I have is my quality, because you know that I grind my own spices. I pump and grind. Yeah,
love it.
I have a guy in Leicester that's got an old Indian stone. Back in the day when all the Asians turned up, they obviously needed their own food. You know what I mean? So some guy brought this old stone from India, like this really old 150, 200-year-old stone to grind the spices. And then obviously Tesco's got word of it, right? So then Tesco's in 1990 started to supply spices to the Indians. And just like any community and any culture, if it's cheaper, you're going to go with the cheaper one, aren't you? Mm-hmm. It's just the way it goes. So all these lovely spice blends and grinders, and there are a few of them about still. Bradford, where there's a Pakistani community, I'm sure there's some there. Southall in London, Wembley, and Leicester, of course. Leicester. Of course. Leicester is also mini Bombay, mini India, may I add. And I've come across this chap who took over a business that had sold, and they stopped using the stone. And guess what he started to do? Started to freshly grind spices again.
Excellent. Love it.
So I don't know if you're ready for me to make this bacon sandwich, or you want to go and make some music first. Make some music?
Oh, let's make some music. I'll tell you what, I'll put a track on, and then, because it's great, and we'll come back for part 2 when we actually make the bacon sandwich, or, well, he does, spicing it up. Let's have a track. Now, I played this track at the start of the show, but I'm going to play it again because I wasn't even supposed to be live, and it's called True Colours. So, anyway, straight back after this, people.